Yes, my dear friends. In the last class, we understood by discussing elaboratively the concept of scope of supply, supply includes, wherein we understood section 7, subsection 1, clause A. All form of supply of goods or services or both, such as sale, transfer, barter, exchange, lease, rental, or disposal, license for consideration in the course or furtherance of business. 7.1b, supply also includes import of services for consideration, whether or not in the course or furtherance of business. 7.1c, transaction even without consideration is a supply if covers under Schedule 1. We refer the Schedule 1. Under Schedule 1, 4 transactions we covered. 1. Permanent transfer of business assets on which input tax credit has been availed. 2. Supply of goods, supply of services are both between related party or distinct persons. However, in the given case, employer given a gift to an employee in a financial year, the value not exceed rupees 50,000, not a supply. Point number 3 of the Schedule 1, supply of goods by the principal to his agent, where the agent undertaken to supply the goods on behalf of the principal, or where the agent supply the goods to principal, where the agent undertaken to receive the goods on behalf of the principal. And the 4th point, import of services by a person from related party or an establishment outside India in the course or furtherance of business. In all the 4 cases, consideration is immaterial. And also we referred in the last class, section 7.1, capital A of the CGST, which also says supply covered under section 7.1, class A, class B, class C, will be called as supply of goods or supply of services as referred under Schedule 2, where we refer 7 points. First point, transfer. Second point, land and billing. Third point, job work. 4th point, transfer of business assets for permanently or temporarily. Further, point number 5, supply of services. 6, it is none other than works contract as well as the what we can call as the restaurant services. Point number 7, unincorporated body or an association supply the goods to its members is supply of goods. We highlighted. Up to this in the last class we discussed, my dear sir. Let's start now. Furthermore, supply excludes section 7, subsection 2 of the CGST. Referring to you here, section 7, subsection 2 of CGST, supply excludes. It is none other than negative list, my dear. None other than negative list. How to understand this? If you refer here, first one, section 7, subsection 2, clause A speaks activities or transactions specified in Schedule 3. Schedule 3. Need to understand. Now let us start the detailed discussion on the part of Schedule 3. Is as follows. We have almost all 8 transactions with amended provisions in this regard. Supply excludes as referred under Schedule 3, referring in detailed manner is as follows, my dear sir. Now, first and foremost point here, services by an employee to the employer in the course of or in relation to his employment. If employee provides the services to employer in the course of his employment, which is outside the scope of this supply, no one liable to pay GST. Sir, if employee provides these services to employer not in the course of employment, then it is a point to be discussed. So this point I am elaborating here with the help of diagrammatic presentation. Just look and understand. Look here, my dear sir. Referring here to you. Employee to employer. Services provided by the employee to his employer. In the course of employment, if answer is yes, not a supply. Not a supply. Answer to this is no. Then, is it provided for consideration? A question mark. Sir, provided for consideration, sir. Then it covered under 7(1)(a). Supply includes such as sale, transfer, barter. That list comes into picture. And it should be in their course or furtherance of business. That is important again. If it is not for a consideration, then it may be going to go to 7(1)(c), possibility. But again, there also, it should be in the course or furtherance of business. Sir, how to understand this, sir? This particular area, how we can able to proceed, sir? This particular area, how we can able to proceed here? This particular portion of taxation, how we should understand this? I will tell you, my dear sir. Now listen. Assume my name is Mr. Shyam. My father, my grandfather are the Vastu Shastra Pandits. I too possess the knowledge of Vastu Shastra. By virtue of my education, I am a qualified chartered accountant appointed in a multinational company on part-time basis. Employee on payroll, part-time. In a month, only 5 days only I will come as an agreement. Monthly salary that fellow is going to pay to me. I am a part-time employee. Employee only. My salary, 2 lakh rupees per month. In a year, 24 lakhs. Taxable? Supplier? No. Because in the course of employment, is it clear? One fine day, my MD called me. Hey, Mr. Shyam, I literally decided to close down my business. Sir, what, sir? What for, sir? When I asked, he replied, so many debts, nowadays, product not moving in the market, so we cannot able to bear the losses. Then I replied, don't worry, sir. It's not for you, for all also, due to the pandemic. Anyhow, I have certain thoughts to share with you. Our organization structure, this particular building is not as per Vastu Shastra, sir. There are some changes are required, sir. Then MD asked very interestingly, what changes you are? Are you aware of the Vastu Shastra? I said my profile and all. So I was very happy. Then please carry out the changes in my organization, thereby whatever your fees I will pay to you. Then what I did is simply I demolished the entire building because power given to me. And the same place constructed small hut. Hut, you know, hut. Full ventilation inside from outside because there is no proper what we can call as windows and all not required. Resulting that employees of the organization not using much AC and all. Overheads, electricity bill drastically came down. Many employees, without claiming VRS compensation, they are retrenched from my organization voluntarily. Because who will work under the hut? For them, prestige issue. Many of employees has been retrenched without claiming the VRS. As a result, the expenditure brought down to the minimum level, and our sales, though may be fallen, which resulting profit in the organization. So my MD is so happy. He called, Mr. Shyam, please come forward. Take your 5 lakh rupees remuneration. That means to say your consideration. So I got 5 lakh rupees consideration from my employer for my Vastu Shastra techniques, which I provided here, implemented. Now tell me, as a manager finance, working in the organization as a part-time basis, my 24 lakh rupees salary in the course of my employment, which is not supply. Is it clearer? This is the part of this, is this. 5 lakh rupees, which I got out of my virtue of a profession of Vastu Shastra, where I provided to him, and 5 lakh rupees not in the course of employment. Is it clearer? Not in the course of employment. Then it is for consideration? Huh? Yes. Then it is supply. Then somebody is to ask with curiosity, sir, whether that particular Shyam liable to pay GST in the given case? Just simply people jump into payment of GST. I will say, what is a Shyam turnover in the financial year? Is exceed threshold limit? He got registered with GST law? Then liable to pay GST. Otherwise, unrestricted person supply services, which is not liable to pay GST and is moreover not under RCM. Got the clarity, my dear sir? So is the way in which this can be understood. If there is no consideration, then in that case, one should refer here 7.1c whether false or not. If it is not false on 7.1c and no consideration, though it is not in the course of employment, which is not a supply. Is it clear, my dear sir? So having this concept into account, I am bringing to a notice latest circular in this regard of the CBIC with regard to director remuneration. Sometimes before I refer this point, but anyhow, now I am elaborating it for a kind consideration. Are you with me, my dear friends? Are you getting clarity? Now, director remuneration, a recent amended provision here, I am bringing to a notice a clarification of the CBIC in this regard. One can expect in the examination, my dear sir. First of all, you have to identify, when you talk about director, there may be independent director, whole-time director, part-time director, women director, managing director, nominee director. There is so much list is there. My dear sir, if a director of a company and received any remuneration from the company where he holds directorship, in such case, its tax liability under GST has been clarified by saying that, is it your directorship, what nomenclature? Is it independent director? You have the status, or other than independent director? First you have to identify. CBIC said, if you are independent director, as per the Companies Act 2013, under section 149, subsection 6 of the Companies Act 2013, very clearly stated that an independent director cannot be at any circumstances employee of the company. Understand? If so, if independent director is not employee of the company, in that case, tell me brothers, whatever remuneration or salary or commission or consideration drawn by independent director from the company, not in the course of employment. Am I right? If it is not in the course of employment, obviously will fall under GST category. Yes, it will attract the GST. It is a supply. When it comes into picture supply, who is liable to pay GST in the case of direct or remuneration which is not come under the purview of the employment? Then we have section 9, subsection 3 of the CGST, which talks about reverse charge mechanism, where the recipient of that service is a company liable to pay GST. Got the clarity, brothers? So I mentioned here, taxable in the hands of the company under RCM. When it is taxable? When you are a independent director. As an independent director, you cannot be called as employee of the company. If you are not an employee of the company, as per section 149, subsection 6 of the Companies Act, your drawings from the company is taxable in the hands of company, where you have directorship on RCM, reverse charge mechanism basis. Got the clarity, my dear sir? If that is the case, my dear, on the other hand, if you are other than independent director, you may be managing director, you may be whole-time director, you may be a part-time director, you may be woman director, you may be any other director other than independent director. If you are other than independent director, in that case, whether you are holding the directorship along with your employment or not, that means remuneration paid to director is subject to TDS under section 192 of the Income Tax Act, means salary. Then covered under Schedule 3, no GST, because supply excludes. Employee provide these services to employer in the course of employment. Got the clarity, my dear? Further, suppose remuneration paid to director is subject to TDS under section 194J, profession of the Income Tax Act, then taxable in the hands of company, because under RCM. Get the clarity, my dear sir? Which is under RCM. When you talk about whole-time director is employee of the company? Yes, obviously, then only he is called whole-time director. If there is a case, such whole-time director drawn the remuneration, whatever he drawn, comes under 192? Yes, sir. May not be repeating again. A whole-time director must be the employee of the company. Then only we call him whole-time director. Such whole-time director drawn from the company, any consideration, remuneration, commission, or whatever may be called, is subject to 192 of the Income Tax Act. may not be. Salary is subject to 192. Is clear, sir? Where the whole time director, if attend the board meeting and drawn the sitting fees of a director of a company, though he may be whole-time director, though he may be employee of the company, that particular sitting fees is going to be taxed under which head of income tax out of the 5 heads? Income from other sources. That means it is not from salary head, resulting that the director remuneration paid to whole-time director in the name of sitting fees, which is maybe subject to the income from other sources, which is not from head salary. It is not the in the course of employment, resulting that reverse charge, taxable supply, recipient liable to pay GST. Got the clarity, my dear sir? Director's remuneration in the name of sitting fees not come under the head salary under the Income Tax Act. If that is the case, it falls under income from other sources. If there is a case, that particular sitting fees is taxable supply in the hands of company under RCM. Is it clear, my dear sir? Is the way in which the particular clarification given by CBIC in this circular number 140 dated 10th June 2020. Got the clarity? Furthermore, my dear friends, presenting here certain examples, my beloved friends definitely will be able to answer this on the spot of reading itself. Example 1. Pragyan has received a sum of rupees 5 lakhs from his employer on premature termination of his contract of employment. Pragyan needs your advice as to whether such receipt are liable to GST. VRS compensation. Tell me, my dear accountants, this particular VRS compensation is taxable under the head income tax under which head? Income from, head salary. It is in the course of employment under section 15 of the Income Tax Act 1961. Therefore, this is not a it is not in the course of other than employment. It is in the course of employment. Therefore, not taxable. So, answer to this here is as follows. Answer not there, sir. Have a hint in your material itself. It is in the course of employment. Hence, no GST. Got the clarity, sir? And the second example. Example 2. Mr. Raju, an employee, provide his services on contract basis to an associate company of Vikram Enterprises, the employer. The above activity is being carried out in lieu of specific consideration, namely monetary consideration. It is supply. If so, who is liable to pay GST? It is a supply. Who provide to whom? Mr. Raju, who is an employee in, where it is? In Vikram Enterprises, who is employer? Raju, employee of Vikram Enterprise employer. He provides certain services. He got specific monetary consideration. To whom he provides these services? To Vikram Enterprises? If you say to Vikram Enterprises, in the course of employment. But the question here is, Raju provides the services to an associate enterprise of Vikram. Associate enterprise of Vikram Enterprises. That means Vikram Enterprise is associate company where Raju not employee. To that associate company, Raju provides the services and got a monetary consideration. Therefore, it is a supply. First and foremost, we have to say supply. It is supply. Now, who is liable to pay GST? Supplier liable to pay if his turnover exceeds the threshold limit and he is a taxable person. If the taxable person, then liable to pay GST. So you have to say that Mr. Raju is liable to pay GST. When he is liable to pay GST? If he is taxable person. Then you write here, further, you put a comma here, provided he is a taxable person, provided he is a taxable person. If you are a taxable person, then Mr. Raju, you are liable to pay GST. Got the clarity? Otherwise, not liable to pay GST. Is clear? Further, my dear sir. Example 3. Salary paid to partner by a partnership firm is liable to pay GST. A very good point. It is really helm of the affairs, one of the point. Partners of partnership firm and partnership firm, none other than related persons, even without consideration, is a supply. Now the point here they asked, salary paid to partner, salary paid to partners of a partnership firm is liable to pay GST. First of all, the supply, then only liable to pay GST. Now, my dear sir, you tell me, partner of a partnership firm is owner of the partnership firm or not? All partners, owners of the partnership firm. Now, that partner drawn the salary from the partnership firm. This salary is taxable under the head income tax. Which head? Salary head?
Yes, sir.
Partner salary of a partnership firm is taxable, you rightly said, under PGBP, profits and gains of business or profession, my dear. It is not the salary head. Is clear? So if that is the case, question of deduction of 192 TDS doesn't arise. Section 192 of TDS of the income tax is applicable only when it is salary. Is clear? So salary of a partner in a partnership firm is taxable under income tax under the head PGBP, resulting that not in the course of employment. First point, one technical point. And moreover, second technical point, this particular salary of a partner of a partnership firm not in the course of employment. Is clear? If so, are you going to tax him or what? Sorry, it is not taxable, not a supply. Reason, the salary, commission, remuneration, what name you may call, he drawn from a partnership firm out of the profit only. Profit of the partnership firm only apportioned in favor of the partners as their salary or commission or whatnot. Now you tell me, GST going to be taxed profit of the organization? Profit of the organization is taxed under income tax. If any tax, the income tax apply for a particular transaction, that transaction generally not taxable under GST. I am going to bring to your notice furthermore certain fringe benefits also. If you tax under income tax a transaction on that value, that is not subject to GST again. At the same time, appropriation of profit not taxable under GST, resulting that all partners of a partnership firm who ever draw salary, commission, bonus from the partnership firm, which is appropriation of profit, not a supply. If not a supply, question of liability to pay GST does not arise. Got the clarity? So, best example here, A, B, C and D are partners in a partnership firm. A, B, C, D and company, chartered accountants. All of them are qualified CS practicing. Mr. A drawn the salary from A, B, C, D and company of partnership firm of chartered accountants. Mr. A drawn the salary, then Mr. A supplied the services to partnership firm or what? No. It is not subject to GST, not a supply. Because it is not a consideration, it is an appropriation of profit.
Sir, remuneration paid to partners will be coming in P&L only, sir, not an appropriation.
That is expenditure. See, P&L account where you are charging salary, debit. Means charging from the profit only, na? You take, see, charging to P&L account means you are apportioning the profit only. Profit and loss apportion are going to be prepared separately. Otherwise, for the partnership firm, partners.
For some partners will be fixed monthly.
Whatever may be, my dear, monthly, fixed, or occasionally paid, whatever name paid to partners, because they are the owner of the organization. So they will take profit. That name may be anyone, salary, bonus, commission, maybe. It's clear? So, partner of a partnership firm, salary not taxable under GST because not a supply. It's clear? So, answer to this. Answer. It is not a supply. Why not a supply means it is appropriation of profit. Appropriation of profit. Let us start further. Example 4 here. Also very important one, I hope so. You will be easily answer this example 4, my dear sir. Reading as follows. Be careful, sir. Technical points are involved here. Is the MTP question. Mock test paper. Example 4. Mr. Rajesh Surana has a proprietorship firm in the name of Surana and Sons in Jaipur. The firm registered the GST in the state of Rajasthan. Manufactures taxable products. The firm also provides taxable consultancy services. Mr. Rajesh Surana has provided the consultancy services to his brother, Mr. Akhilesh Surana, located in United States of America, USA, without any consideration. The product manufactured by Akhilesh are similar to the ones manufactured by Mr. Rajesh Surana. Mr. Rajesh Surana charges rupees 3 lakhs for providing similar consultancy services to other independent customers located in USA. Compute the GST liability, if any, in the given case, assuming the rate of CGST, SGST, and IGST to be 9%, 9%, and 18% respectively. What type of nature it is? From Rajasthan, Rajesh Surana, in the name of Surana and Sons, from Jaipur, they provide the services. They provide the services to his Akhilesh Surana, who is a brother. Now, is it provided for consideration? If there is no consideration, it is not export of service. Understand? If there is no, see, we have section 2. I have not referred that one. I am going to refer. We have section 2. Is premature to refer, but the topic comes here. You are highly mature enough to understand. Referring to you, section 2, subsection 6 of the IGST, which talks about export of services. To treat it as export of services, supplier should be in India, recipient should be outside India. Third one, there must be payment received in the convertible foreign currency, or wherever the RBI permitted to bring Indian rupees, there must be consideration in INR, Indian rupees. Fourth point, the place of supply should be outside India. And the fifth point, the exporter and the recipient, a supplier and recipient should not be related parties. Then it is called what? Export of services. Here, export of services, important condition is consideration, which is not there. Therefore, not export of service. If not export of service, location of supplier in India, recipient outside India, is the interstate supply? IGST will apply? A question mark. IGST will apply only when there is a consideration. Sir, they are the brothers, sir. Rajesh Surana, Akhilesh Surana are the brothers, sir. Okay. If they are the brothers, are they falls under term related persons? Under the section 15 of CGST Act, there we have explanation. Members of the same family. Family in the last class we referred. Section 2, section 49 of the CGST, where spouse, children's, or parents, grandparents, brothers or sisters who are mainly or wholly depending on such person. Then only family. If so, the members of the same family are called as real parties. Now in the given example, Rajesh Surana, Akhilesh Surana, though may be the brothers, are they depending on each other? None depending on the other. Because Rajesh Surana is carrying his own business in India. Akhilesh Surana also be carrying his own business in US. In this given case, in the given situation, they are not come under the term family, under section 249 of the CGST, resulting that they are not going to come under real parties. If so, if there is no real parties, then to treat supply, there must be consideration. In the given case, there is no consideration. Hence, it is not a supply. Though it may be, even if you call supply, supply includes 7(1)(a), there must be consideration. If there is no consideration, not a supply. And they are not covering under Schedule 1. And the term real party, they are not covered. Therefore, we call them here as non-related parties. If so, no consideration, not a supply. Is it clear, my dear friends? Is the way in which you have to analyze and answer. This point I referred, not a new point for you. Therefore, I can simplify manner to say that here, answer to this here is in a simplified manner as follows. Since no consideration no GST. Moreover, they are non-related parties. They are non-related persons. Got the clarity, my dear friends? Any difficulties, sir? As simple as this. Now referring to you furthermore. I am where actually? We are where actually? We are referring section 7, subsection 2, clause A. Supply excludes schedule 3 transaction. In that first point, services supplied by employee to his employer in the course of employment. If so, not a supply. Is it clear? Good. Now referring to you here, a multiple choice question, MCQ, which is important from the exam point of view also. Listen. Yes, Amma? Is there? In the first point, one more point is there? Please tell me, my dear. Tell me, Amma. What is there? See, what is this? No, if they are the related parties, if they are, in the Rajashurana case, if they are related parties, under GST, then is supplier. In that case, how to determine value of supply? Means similar value. How much? That will be the value. That is the valuation rules. Since here no supply, because they are non-related parties, question of 3 lakhs has no importance. In the given example, this 3 lakh rupees is redundant. Got the clarity? Any difficulty? Further, my dear sir, referring to you here, multiple choice question, MCQ. It is drawn from your OTP, reading as follows. Mrs. Air Cool Limited, a supplier of air conditioners is registered in the state of Maharashtra. It has a policy to gift an air conditioner to its employees residing in Gujarat. At the end of the financial year, in terms of the employment contract, the company installs such air conditioners at the residence of the employees. During the month of March, the company installed 150 air conditioners at the residence of these employees. The total open market value of such air conditioners rupees 52,50,000, excluding GST. The tax rate on such air conditioners is 28%, CGST 14%, SGST 14%, IGST 28%. Compute the GST liability of Mrs. Air Cool Limited, if any. A. 3,75,000 CGST. Again 3,75,000 SGST. B. 14,70,000 rupees IGST. C. Nil. D. None of the above. Which answer is right? What type of a transaction it is, my dear sir? What type of transaction in the given case taken place? You tell me. Gift. When you talk about employer given a gift to employee, it's related parties. In a financial year, the value per employee should not exceed rupees 50,000. Then it is not a supply. Not come under the schedule 1. If not come under schedule 1, there must be consideration. Here no consideration, only given, gift. Gift is given, in return there is no consideration. You get my point? That means the air conditioning machine is given. Nothing is received from the employee. Freely given. So in that case, no consideration for employer. If so, it won't come under schedule 1. It won't come under 7.1 supply includes. Provided the gift value should not exceed rupees 50,000 in a financial year to an employee. Again, I'm telling you, an employee. An employee means one employee. How much value here, my dear? Tell me. 52 lakhs 50,000. Correct? 52 lakh 50,000 divided by how many employees are there given? 150 employees. If so, per employee how much comes? Rupees 35,000 in a financial year. If so, which is is less than, that is less than rupees, less than equal to rupees 50,000. Am I right or not? If so, not covered under Schedule 1, not a supply. Therefore, here the GST amount is how much means the GST here is nil, you have to say. Don't say none of the above. Nil is the right approach. Understand? Here nil is there, none of the above. None of the above means nothing will be coming to picture. What is given is entirely incorrect. But nil is there. Na? So the answer here is C. C is the right answer for the given case. Answer is C. In the examination, you can have this working with you. But answer sheet neatly you have to mention as answer. Just you have to mention the question number and say on this only C. Don't repeat again the question or the entire thing should be right. If the C runs 2 lines now, 2 lines should not be recorded. Are you getting my point, my dear? Important one. Repeating again with some clarity here need to be understand. That is important. What for we are reading the subject? For exam purpose especially. How to answer exams important. So if you are writing the question number 1, answers you are writing here. In that small a, I can say that like this. Question number 1 already is there. Question number answers. I will put here this answer question number 1. If that is the case, my dear sir, there may be so many questions in question number 1. Question number 1, sub 1, small Roman 1, Roman 2, Roman 3. So answer here for Roman 1. If it is C means C. Roman 2 question answer. If it is A means A. If it is point number 3 question number 1, sub point 3. If it is a D is the right answer means D. That's how you have to mention. Working you required, you separately have separate working sheet. In the answer sheet itself, you can have working separate sheet you take. Separate sheet you take. You can write down here working note. Working note. There you can write whatever you like. But when you come to answer, mention like this. If the C answer runs 3 lines, writing 3 lines is a waste of your valuable time in the exam hall. That you understand. It is sufficient. Marks will be allotted like this. Now please come back. Actually where we are? We are here. Employee provide these services to employer in the course of employment, which is excluded from the scope of supply. Got the clarity? Yes, Amma.
We should not include GST.
Obviously. Excellent question you ask. Is important. I am supposed to say that. Highlight. Accepted your point, my dear. Listen. Schedule 1, point number 2, where employer given a gift to an employee in a financial year, the value should not exceed rupees 50,000 is a value. In the first class of mine, I told you value means exclusive of taxes. If price means inclusive of taxes, is a value only. Is clearer? Therefore, it is declared to say that without adding the GST portion, 50,000 you have to see. Got the clarity? Further. Now coming to the topic, important hot topic it is, my dear, called as fringe benefits. Fringe benefit, you are very much aware of the fringe benefit. Earlier it was fringe benefit tax when came. What is fringe benefit? People running behind the fringe benefit. But anyhow, now under the income tax, used to come across the fringe benefit. We do have in the GST law also. Sir, what is fringe benefit actually? Tell me. Benefits provided by employer to the employee. Correct, sir? If the benefits provided by the employer to the employee in terms of monetary basis, money basis, it generally comes under income tax. Under the head perquisites. Yes or no? Under the head perquisites, this particular monetary benefits, if taxed under Income Tax Act, under GST law, we are not going to tax. Suppose if the fringe benefit are such that which is not able to catch hold under the income tax because not a monetary benefit, in such situation, it is not going to catch hold income tax. What is not catch hold income tax, fringe benefits, we will catch under the GST, we will tax, set by CBIC. Set by CBIC. Now listen, sir. Which fringe benefit you can foresee not going to cover under income tax? Therefore, one can able to treat it as a supply under GST. I'll give you an example. Carefully listen to me. My name is Mr. X. I'm an employee in Infosys company in Bangalore. My wife, Mrs. X, also be employed in the same place. We both of them so dedicated employees. My employer so happy with our presence. Down the line after 2-3 years, God blessed with a small baby, cute baby to us, and my wife said, "Hey Mr. X, you go employment, I will take care of the baby in the house." Then I felt very bad because so far we both are together working in the organization in a greater manner. Little I too decided not to go to employment. Then we simply submitted our resignation in front of the MD. MD said, "Why you are resigning? You two are the main pillars of the organization. Don't go away." Sir, our problem is this, sir. Who will take care of our baby, sir? Fine. In that case, MD of the Infosys company said, "You don't worry, I will take care of your baby. You please come to our employment," because Infosys company is a company which is providing excellent employee benefits, taking care of employee welfare. What I had from my sources. So, employer said, "You don't worry, I will take care of your baby. I will open a child care inside of the organization. When you come to our office, please come along with the baby. And we will take care of your baby till you complete your job. And while going, you can carry your baby again. I will take care." Like that, transaction has been taken place. Employer happy, employee happy, baby too happy. So in this scenario, employer provided the benefit. Suppose if they hand over the child in daycare outside, they will charge or not? That money saved or not? So nothing but a benefit provided by employer to employee is one of the classical example for fringe benefit, which is not going to catch on income tax. That will catch under GST, set by CBIC. How they are going to catch and all, left to the experience and the knowledge of our beloved officers of the GST. Got the clarity, sir? That's why I mentioned here, fringe benefit. Simple manner saying that as follows. Tax under income tax, we are not going to tax under GST. If it is not tax income tax, then it can be taxed under GST, treating as supply. Got the clarity, my dear sir? Any difficulty? Further, bring into your notice case law at your level. Though the institute not specifically mentioned the case laws for applicability for your exams, at final level, case laws are embedded, without which subject not going to move. I told you, source of indirect taxes and source of GST law, one important organ, last but not the least, GST pronouncements, the GST particular case laws under GST, judiciary pronouncements. One cannot able to deny that GST were a new legislation without involvement of the judiciary, too difficult to carry out effectively. So, in this process, I am bringing to a notice authority for advance ruling. We have here, my dear, we have under GST law appeals. In our second volume, it is going to come. Right from Commissioner Appeals to level of the apex court, namely Supreme Court of India. In addition to that, one more route to seek the justice from judiciary is called as authority for advance ruling, followed by appellate authority for advance ruling. We have many advance rulings nowadays from the state. Each state has advance ruling, separate organ is there, state-wise it is there. Therefore, here in the given case, Karnataka, authority for advance ruling, given a ruling in the given case of Columbia Asia Hospitals Private Limited. Columbia Asia Hospitals Private Limited. I am referring to you employee-employer concept, where employee provides these services in the course of employment to his employer, not a supply. Head office in the given case, I am referring the facts of the case. Head office located in Bangalore, Karnataka. Columbia Asia Hospitals Private Limited is registered person under GST RP. And this company also has branches in other states in addition to the state of Karnataka. So, is a MNC hospital registered in the Karnataka, Bangalore, having the multiple branches in the Karnataka as well as outside the state of Karnataka, other states also. There what happened, this Karnataka branch, namely head office, from the head office, from Bangalore, they supplied some employees, their employees, to other branches of their own Columbia Asia hospitals, which are located in other states. On deputation they supplied. Now, Columbia Asia Hospital head office employee working in Columbia Asia Hospital branch office in other state. That means distinct person?
Yes, sir.
Distinct persons. If so, head office provide the service to branch office. Yes or no question mark arises. In the case of Columbia Asia Hospital Private Limited, authority for advance ruling in Karnataka said, yes, it is a supply. Is clear, sir? Even without concession not required, because Schedule 1, point number 2. Transaction, supply of goods, supply of service are both between distinct persons. Even without concession, supply. Is clear? Point number 1. Point number 2, what happened, my dear? The branches of the other state getting the services of security services, housekeeping services, the cleaning services, and other services, rental services, because the hospital running in rental premises, other state. These all expenditure paid by head office, from Karnataka, for all other state branches of their own, of rental, security, housekeeping, dry cleaning, these and all charges paid by head office from Karnataka. After payment charges, the head office collecting from the branch office, reimbursing. Hey, Mr. Branch, State 1, for you I paid this month rent. For you I paid this month security. You please pay back to me. So collecting back money. Here what happened? Whether it is supply, is a supply? Question mark. Head office collecting the rental charges, security charges from the other branches. Because I already paid by head office to the service providers. Now, this is supply between head office and branch office when they reimburse the expenditure. This comes into picture. The authority for advance in Karnataka said, yes, it is a supply. Falls under section 7(1)(a), treating as transfer. Transfer. Transfer concept have you had? Supply includes such as sale, transfer, barter. In this transfer is there a expenditures transferred, facilities transferred, and the name transfer. This will be come into picture and recovering the amount. Consideration is there. Therefore, it is a supply. So first point, head office sending their own employees to other state branch offices is a supply, even with the consideration. Second case, expenditure incurred for branches by head office and reimbursing from the branches is a transfer, is a supply. Got the clarity? Any difficulty, sir? Is the manner in which, in the case of Columbia Asia Hospitals case, the authority for advance ruling given the ruling.
Intercompany loans, ಇದೆಲ್ಲನೇ tax ಬರುತ್ತೆ sir.
Which one?
Intercompany loans ಅದೆಲ್ಲ.
Loan, sir. Loan means again money, no?
ಇದು loan ಅಲ್ಲ. Like first head office is
This is not a loan. It's not a loan. Rent received, money paid. Where's the loan? Not a loan. If you went to bank, obtained the loan and paying the interest, there is a money transaction. This is not a loan. Is clear about this? Any difficulty up to this, my dear friends? Further, my dear sir, point number 2 of schedule 3. Services by a court, tribunal is not a supply. Somebody asked me sometimes before. It is not a supply, sir. I said, you remember, sir, judges providing judgment and where you pay the court fees cannot be called as supply. Have I said to you or not? Yes. Now, bring into your notice here, my dear sir, schedule 3, point number 2, schedule 3 here, where we are referring under section 7 to schedule 3 referring. This schedule 3 we are referring from here. We are here in page number 27. Schedule 3. First point clear? Huh? Any difficulty in the first point, my dear sir? Further. Second point of the schedule 3. Services by court or tribunal established under any law for the time being in force. Services by court. Court includes the session court, district court, high court, supreme court. Or tribunal. Tribunal we have GST 80, Goods and Service Tax Appellate Tribunal. Yes. Tribunal services, which includes authority for advance ruling services, or not come under the supply category. Suppose you want to go for appeal, my dear, you have to pay appellate fees. Appellate fees is not a consideration which you pay to judge to give judgment in favor of you. It is not so. It is only applicability. You want to qualify to go for appeal, you have to pay application fees, appellate fees. That is not a consideration. Is clear? Now the point comes into picture. Sir, there are quasi-judiciaries like, almost a judiciary only, this particular, if I said tribunal, no problem. Tribunal means National Appellate Tribunal. You can say simply is a come under category, sir, not supply. I am talking about one circle of the CBIC here. Dispute Resolution Commission. There are some consumer disputes. Consumer courts are there. Dispute Resolution Commissions. If so, they provide the services by collecting the charges, namely appellate fees, covered under this Schedule 3 or not, a question mark. This point has been clarified by CBIC, stating that it is also well covered under Schedule 3, therefore not a supply. What is false in Schedule 3 is outside the scope of the supply. What is excluded from Schedule 3 will fall under scope of supply. Get my point, sir? This point of CBIC clarification with regard to Dispute Resolution Commission is here. I brought your notice the circular like a question answer type. Listen here. In the given case, my dear sir, I mentioned here stating that service by court or tribunal. First explanation 1. The explanation to this point here is for the purpose of paragraph 2. The term court includes district court, high court and supreme court. Paragraph 2 means point number 2. Point number 2, brothers. Further. Example. Is the GST leviable on the fee charged in the following cases? This is what circular of the CBIC. This one is circular of the CBIC. This particular example I can say is the circular of the CBIC. Is GST leviable on the fee amount charged in the following situations or cases? 1. A customer pays fees while registering complaints to Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission office and its subordinate offices. These fees are credited into the State Consumer Welfare Fund's bank account. 2. Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission office and its subordinate offices charging penalty in cash when it is required. 3. Point number 3. Referring point number 3 further, when a person files an appeal to Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission against order of district forum, amount equal to 50% of the total amount imposed by a district forum or rupees 25,000, whichever is less, is required to be paid. So these are all 3 points where the first point, appellate fees. Second point, penalty charged by the Redressal Commission. Further, third point is when you go from district court to the particular against district court, you are going for higher forum where you are going to pay again appellate fees. In all these 3 cases, this is a consideration for the Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission or not. The term Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission will come under the term court? CBIC said, absolutely yes. Answer given here. As per the CBIC circular, fee paid by litigants means applicant. Litigant means applicant in the Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission are not liable to GST. Any penalty imposed by or amount paid to these commissioners or commissions will also not attract GST. Thus, GST will not be levied in case number 1, 2, 3 above questions. Reason comes under the category of supplies of service by court or tribunal. Got the clarity, my dear friends? Any difficulty up to this, my dear? Further referring Schedule 3.2, one simple case law also. Yes. A simple case law. Whether the GST is applicable on services or assistance rendered by the court receiver appointed by the court receiver appointed by the court. Court provides the services, but has the fees, not a supply. Court appointed the receiver, and the receiver carried out the activities for consideration. Will come under this category? Doubt. This has been clarified by the Bombay High Court in the case of by Mumbai Trust. In the case of by Mumbai Trust case, Bombay High Court said that absolutely covered under Schedule 3.2, because this receiver has no power unless the power passed by the court. So, court cannot be able to carry out the activity by coming to the receiver stage. Receiver will carry out the activity on behalf of the court, as if the court carried the activity. So, in the given case, the decision given by the Bombay High Court is as follows. Court observed that Schedule 3 provides that service provided by any court or tribunal established under any law is neither a supply of goods nor supply of services. Of course, we know that. Court receiver should implement orders. Court receiver should implement orders in the court, orders of the court, and functions under the supervisions and directions of the court. Hence, office of the court receiver is an establishment of the High Court, through which the orders issued by the court are given effect to. Therefore, the services of the court receiver are to be considered as service provided by any court. Accordingly, the fee or charges paid to the court receiver are not liable to GST. The Honorable High Court held that GST cannot be levied or recovered on services provided by the court receiver. Court receiver activity is on behalf of the court only, as if court rendered the services only. In the case of by Mumbai Trust, to only 3 points. BAI, by Mumbai Trust case. There will be a case going to come. If comes in the picture, if you write like this by mentioning the case law name at least, highly sufficient in the exam point of view. How our students got 97 marks in the IDT? I asked him, hey mister, you tell me, have you quoted sections? Have you quoted the case studies in the exam hall while writing the answers? He said, yes sir. To impress my examiner, I quoted the sections. I too quoted the case laws wherever required. 97 marks secured, whose interview made by me is there in our Rafi Academy website. In gallery, if you have time, when you feel relaxed, go and listen. Just only 5 minutes interview. Here only I conducted in the same premises, and he given excellent answers for my queries. When you feel free, Rafi Academy website, you just knock it and go to gallery. There, 1 or 2 first itself video it is. It's clear? Now come back, my dear sir. With this, we covered point number 2 of the schedule 3. So far how many covered? 2. First point, supply of service by employee to employer in the course of employment. Second one, supply of service by court or tribunal. These 2 are excluded from the scope of supply. Got the clarity? Further, my dear friends, further referring schedule 3, point number 3. Supply excludes members of parliament, members of state legislature, members of panchayat, members of municipalities, and members of local authorities. Their activities absolutely excluded from the scope of supply. They are not the employees of the organization. Suppose I contested election for member of parliament. Assume scenario, I won the parliament constituency. I became a member of the parliament. And my drawings from the government, not in the course of employment. I am not an employee of the organization. I am a public servant. Political party representing the public at large. So, in that case, it is specifically mentioned for them, it is not a supply. If I received any consideration for my travel, for my boarding, for lodging, eating, drinking, because I am attending the parliament session, therefore I am eligible to claim expenditures of mine, which is not a supply. Holding as a member of the parliament, maybe Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, as the case may be, or I am any member of the state legislative assembly, or the member of the panchayat, council member, or it may be member of a municipality, or I may be member of the local authority, cantonment board, as the case may be. So, my supply excluded from the scope of supply. Further, any person who holds any post in pursuance of the provisions of the Constitution in that capacity, like Election Commission of India. Best example, my dear, constitutional authority it is. Who is competent to conduct the elections in India? Election Commission of India. Central level as well as state level. Therefore, their activities not come under the supply. Further, chairperson or a member or a director in a body or in a body established by the central or state government or local authority and who is not deemed as an employee before the commencement of this clause. Sir, a chairperson or a member of or a director in a body established by the central government, state government. For example, my dear sir, Slum Clearances Board, established by the state government of Tamil Nadu. I became a chairperson. I became a director. I am a particular position holding in that particular body. If so, my supply not in the course of employment, because I am a retired judge. After that, state government appointed me as a chairperson of Slum Clearances Board. Otherwise, government want to have a particular commission to take care of the welfare of scheduled caste. If so, commission has been established, I became a chairperson of the commission. I am not an employee of the organization. If so, such a chairperson receives any remuneration from the government, especially, or from the commission fund, not a supply. Further, like public commission, service, the Union Public Service Commission, UPSC, and all, the central board, film certificate, film board, censor board, the general comes under the category. Further, my dear sir, supply does not include point number 4 under schedule 3. Services of funeral, burial, crematorium or mortuary, including transportation of the deceased, not a supply. Not free from charges. That is charges. Ambulance wala will carry by charging charges, unless it is a government free of cost. If the concession is there, that consideration cannot be taxed on GST. Activities in relation to funeral, burial, crematorium, or mortuary services, including transportation of deceased, not going to be taxed under GST. Is clear, my dear sir? Further, schedule number 3, point number 5. Sale of land and subject to class B of paragraph 5 of schedule 2, sale of building. You know, my dear sir, sale of land, here paragraph 5, class B of schedule 2 is what, no? Is what, you know? There is very clearly mentioned schedule 2, point number 5. In that paragraph 5, B, construction. Title is supply of service. Under supply of service, there they mention point number B. Point number A, renting and all. Point number B, construction. That construction also service, not a supply of service, if construction completed, full consideration received after obtaining completion certificate from competent authority or ready to occupy, whichever is earlier. After that, if I receive the consideration fully, which is neither goods nor services. Is it clear, sir? Now, if I receive the consideration partly or fully before obtaining completion certificate or ready to occupy, in that case, my construction supply is supply of services. Is clear, sir? So here they said land, sale of land, it don't come under supply based immovable property. Subject to class B of paragraph 5 of schedule 2, sale of building. When the building comes into picture, sale of building also immovable, which is not going to be taxed. Therefore, it is not a supply. But subject to schedule 2, point number 5, class B. Meaning what? Meaning, suppose if the building during construction, consideration received fully or partly, that one cannot deny to treat as a supply of service. Get my point, sir? That will be subject to that sale of building, not a supply. Understand, sir? This point need to understand, brothers. Many of them may not be able to just simply read and leave it. No, it is to be understand carefully. Look here, this particular subject to class B of, that means here what happened, it is construction service. When construction service means payment should be received before obtaining completion certificate or ready to occupy. That time it is a supply of service. If supply of service, it don't come under exclusion list. Got the clarity? It don't come under exclusion list. That time supply includes construction services, though it may be sale of building. Then, which one will come here? Schedule 3. Supply excludes. Sale of building means the building construction is completed, obtain the completion certificate, or ready to occupy. Among the two, whichever is earlier, after that, if I receive the consideration, which is not a supply of goods, not a supply of services, will cover under Schedule 3. Supply excludes. Got the clarity, my dear friends? Any difficulty here? Yes, my dear friends. Schedule 3, point number 5. Asking you here a doubt. sale of land and building, whether attract GST, sale of land and sale of building attract the GST question mark. Answer this. No GST on ready to move in flats after obtaining compulsory period or its first occupancy. Among whichever is earlier, after that if I got consideration fully, which is not a supply. So no GST on ready to move flats if sale takes place after issuance of completion certificate. Generally completion will be applicable where the metros comes into picture, cities comes into picture. If there is a remote area, village area, there I am constructing where it is not required to obtain a completion certificate from competent authority. It is sufficient to get a clearance from the panchayat. There, ready to occupy taken place. That is sufficient. If ready to occupy is there, completion certificate is there, among that whichever is earlier, after that I should have been obtained full consideration. That time only no GST. Comes under schedule 3. Got the clarity, my dear sir? Further, point number 6. Actionable claims other than lottery, betting, gambling. This point I referred sometimes before. When I refer the term goods, defined goods, where I refer these points by stating that to you, goods includes actionable claims. But here, supply excludes actionable claims. How matching? This is mismatching. Repeating again, goods defined, section 2, section 52, which includes actionable claims. Schedule 3. Schedule 3, point number 6, specifically says that supply excludes actionable claims.
Yes, there are also actionable things other than lateral.
Listen, I will explain. In the term goods, goods includes actionable claims. I will mention here, don't worry at all. Here, goods includes actionable claim, whereas schedule 3 says supply excludes actionable claims. Got the clarity, sir? Then how we should identify this means, here one is there, important area, other than lottery, betting and gambling. Other than lottery, betting and gambling. That means what is not covered under this, what is not covered under this, covered under this. That means actionable claims means one is lottery, other one is betting, another one is gambling. This 3 comes into picture. That means actionable claims only confined to this lottery, betting, gambling. If so, in that case, this is called what? Goods. This is called what? Goods. Anything other than lottery, betting, gambling, which is actionable claims, not falls under goods. Got the clarity? Got the clarity, my dear friends? Further continuation from here. Schedule 3. Point number 7. Very important one it is. Comprehensive one. supply of goods from non-taxable territory to another non-taxable territory without such goods entering into India. Well possible. Our Indians are too intelligent. Look on the screen. Here what happened? Indian who is located in India received the order for the want of the goods from USA. From USA, Indian in India received the order for the want of the goods. Unfortunate Mr. Indian found lesser quantity of that goods. Not there. That much of goods are not there to supply. Then this gentleman from India approached to a China fellow. Hey, Mr. China fellow, are you having the goods of so and so quality and quantity? China fellow replied, plenty I have. Then Indian fellow said, you please supply those goods to one of my buyer located at USA and bill to me. I will make the payment to you, don't worry at all. So, goods shipped by air to USA from China and billed to Indian buyer. It is nothing but what? Bill to ship to model. From the China fellow supplier who is outside India, I am not bothering. Now coming to Indian person, Indian fellow, this gentleman sold the goods to USA fellow? Yes or no? Yes only, because USA fellow will make the payment to Indian gentleman, because Indian gentleman only made available the goods in the premises of the buyer at USA. In that case, who sold the goods to USA fellow means Indian person. Therefore, Indian person we called him here is, he is a seller. He is a seller. Who is the buyer? USA person is the buyer. In that case, my dear sir, transaction between Indian seller and USA buyer is supply of goods. If so, is it export of goods? Question mark. Is export of goods? We have definition in the IGST. Export of goods means the goods should move from India to a place outside India. The goods not moved from India to outside India, but sale taken place. In such case, interstate supply, but not export of goods. Interstate supply, not export of goods. If that is the case, who is seller? Indian person. Liable to pay GST. Then the Indian seller says, hey Government of India, GST Council, look here. I am a earner of foreign currency, man. On account of my transaction, I am getting dash foreign currency from USA. So, I am earning the foreign currency in one hand. You simply showing the technicalities of GST and taxing me. I am really hurt. I won't do this business. I won't earn the foreign currency. Then the Government of India said, don't worry at all. Upon the recommendation GST Council, don't worry. We have mentioned export means what, export of goods means what, export of this means what. This is all for technical purpose. But in your case, your exceptional case, you also earning the foreign currency. We will do justice for you. If the goods are moving from non-taxable territory, China is a non-taxable territory, from China to USA, non-tax subsidiary. From non-TT to non-TT, TT means? TT means tax subsidiary. From non-TT to non-TT, the goods are moving without connecting into India. In such case, such a supply is not a supply in the hands of the Indian seller. One of the classical example for the Schedule 3, point number 7 is this. Supply of goods from non-taxable territory to non-taxable territory without such goods entering into India is not a supply. Therefore, whatever the money earned by Indian seller is not a supply. If not a supply, no GST. Got the clarity? Further, my dear sir, if there is a case, I am bringing to notice one question here, example lifted from the OTP. One example here, from this given scenario. Mr. Zumbi, a supplier registered in Hyderabad, Telangana, he is RP. RP means registered person. Procures goods from China and directly supplies the same to a customer in US. With reference to the provisions of the GST law, examine whether the said activity of supply of goods by Mr. Zumbi to customer in US is taxable under the GST. If yes, determine the place of supply of the same. First of all, you tell me, is supply? This question was prepared before the amendment, before the insertion of this point number 7 in the Schedule 3. So now it is Schedule 3 false. Therefore, I can simplify manner to say that this transaction, I will simply say that not a supply. If not a supply, question of place of supply doesn't arise. Therefore, place of supply does not arise. Got the clarity, my dear sir? Further, my dear, very important area bringing to a notice. Point number 8, A of Schedule 3. Also amended provision it is. Supply excludes supply of warehoused goods. It is a comprehensive study, my dear sir. Warehoused goods. What do you mean this? How to understand this? And before clearances for home consumption from warehoused goods, supply taken place. How to understand this? I will put a simple example. Here also example is there. I will put in a simplified manner to listen and understand. Sir, I am Mr. C of Chennai. I imported 20 laptops from the country called Thailand. And the goods came in a vessel to Chennai port. My goods are landed on Chennai port. I came to know that my goods are landed over there. As a C of Chennai, I imported the goods. Now, I can clear that goods by payment of custom duty. I can bring into my particular office. India is my home country. To consume in India, I can pay the duty of customs and clear the goods from customs for home consumption. Home consumption means not consuming in my house. India is my home country, to consume in India. So if I pay the duty, Department of Customs says that, hey, Mr. Gentleman, you pay the duty, carry the goods. And while clearing the goods, there is a out of customs charge order. I have to show at the gate pass, and the officer of customs who is sitting at the gate pass, what type of goods? 20 laptops. Have paid duty, pay duty. There in the truck? Yes, there. Fine. Chhod de rahe. Means allow him to go away. Then the checkpost gate will be opened and I can bring into India for home consumption. India is my home consumption. Now got the points? Got the point. It is one of the area. One side of clearance of the goods. Another side of clearance of the goods, I may request my Commissioner of Customs. I can request my Commissioner of Customs. Hey, Mr. Commissioner of Customs, I am unable to store these goods. Please allow me to safeguard my goods at your place. Resulting that, two benefits for the importer. He can defer the import duty thereon till the point of clearing the goods from the warehouse. Second one, he can minimize his carrying cost. If I clear that goods and kept in my place, I should keep with the security and with the place, rental premises, security premises, that and this will come into picture, carrying cost unnecessarily. These two I can avoid. I can pay only warehouse charges sufficient to Department of Customs. So I approach the Commissioner of Customs by following the procedure of Customs law, warehousing. So please allow me to warehouse my goods. Department of Customs Commissioner said, yes, your goods are fit for warehousing. Goods are warehouse. Now, my 20 laptops are where available? My 20 laptops are available in the warehouse. Have I cleared the goods from the Customs Department? No. Have I paid import duty? No. Neither I paid import duty, nor I cleared from Department of Customs. It is in the custody of the Customs, in the warehouse. At that moment, what happened? One person approached me. Sir, nowadays laptops are so demand, not available here and there. Are you having a laptop, sir? I want to buy, sir. I want to buy 15 laptops, sir. I said, I have 20 laptops readily available in the warehouse of Customs. Then he said, 20 laptops I will buy, sir, because it is so demandable, sir. So I got a buyer for my goods. Now you tell me, if I clear the goods from the Customs by payment of duty and selling again to him is a tedious process for me. So what I said is, hey Mr. Incoming buyer, my goods are available at Customs warehouse. I am the owner of the goods. I have with me documents of title called as bill of entry. Speak out. Bill of entry is the documents of title on imported goods. That bill of entry I will endorse in favor of you. You go and clear the goods. That means who liable to pay import duty, Department of Customs at the time of clearing the goods from the warehouse? The new buyer, incoming buyer. So C of Chennai sold that goods to, let us say, D of Delhi. D of Delhi submitting the bill of entry in the Department of Customs, clearing the goods by payment of custom duty. Is clear? Now a transaction between C and D of those goods, the goods lying where? In the warehouse, which is imported goods, not cleared for home consumption. Such goods, if I sold C to D, D to E, E to Z, these are all transactions, not a supply, cannot be called as a sale to levy the GST. Reason you know, my dear sir? Reason, anyhow the person who is going to be cleared the goods from the Department of Customs by submitting the bill of entry, liable to pay basic custom duty, in addition to that IGST. He is going to pay, no, why again we have to pay? That is the reason, multiple taxes to avoid, only once at the time of submission of a bill of entry to clear the goods from the warehouse for home consumption, that time he will pay along with the custom duties IGST also to Department of Customs. In this point I clarified first class itself. On account of import of goods, you have to pay, being an importer, not only basic custom duty but also IGST, which is compensating the countervailing duty and special countervailing duty. A detailed manner, example, live example also given that time. First class of mind. So that time you pay IGST, sufficient. So C sold to D, D sold to E, not liable to pay GST in India for those goods which are warehoused before clearance for home consumption. Got the clarity? So this is what I mentioned here, just mentioning purpose. X Limited in the given example import the goods and warehouse the goods. The goods are warehoused. These are all warehouse goods. During the tenure of warehousing, X Limited sold the goods to Y. X Limited supplied the warehoused goods to Y Limited before clearance for home consumption. If so, transaction between X and Y is not a supply. Is not a supply. Transaction between them is not a supply.
Invoice for Y, who will issue, sir?
Invoice who will issue to whom?
To Y.
Huh. See, X Limited will issue the invoice to Y, mentioning that warehoused goods before clearing for home consumption, not a supply.
Y, how he will pay IGST?
And now, who is the owner of the goods after sold by X to Y? Y. Y got from X bill of entry. Bill of entry is a document of title to prove the ownership on the imported goods. Y submit Department of Customs. Department of Customs verifies that, hey, Mr. Y, you want to clear the goods? Yes. So, what is your BCD? What is your social welfare charge? What is your IGST? Perfect. Pay.
IGST from where it came?
IGST from where means import of goods will be treated as dash type of supply. Interest supply. Who import the goods now in the given example? Y. X to Y. X transfer to Y, then Y is a importer now.
X purchasing a land.
That is what is a reverse charge. That means in the given case of customs law, that is your point. Seller is outside India, the recipient of the goods in India. Why the recipient should pay? Because Customs Department cannot ask the seller of the goods. If Customs Department asks, hey Mr. T of Thailand, you supply the goods, pay Department of Customs. To Customs Department means he will say, wrong number, put the phone. Obviously or not? Can the Department of Customs will go to Thailand to collect that custom duty from them? No. Who is sitting in front of us? Gentleman. Indian. Indian is sitting in front of me as gentleman. Hey Mr. Indian, you pay custom duty. Then this fellow asks Indian, sir, I'm a buyer, no. Why should I pay the custom duty? Then don't import. Who asked you to import? Your import going to be cause the injury to our Indian industry. Your import causing us negative impact on Indian economy. Your import causing us flowing out of our foreign currency. Your import is not going to meet our foreign trade policy objective. One of the objective of the foreign trade policy is this: A minus B greater than 0. A is our export, B is our import. You are encouraging import. Means what? B is greater than A, which is negative impact our Indian economy. We won't entertain that. We will penalize you. Furthermore, if IGST is not sufficient, we will levy the compensation cess also. Who asked you to import? You are importing with your out of your own interest. Pay import duty by you only. We won't ask supplier. Otherwise, please buy from our Indian market. Indian manufacturers are too good, durable product, safety products. Yes or no? This is what Department of Customs concept. Now come back.
That means that why you want to pay reverse charge?
What? And not under custom GST law. Is under customs. Import of goods. Who will levy the duties? Only Custom Department. Import of services, only IGST will be levied by Department of GST. This point I clarified in the first class. Important points.
Why GST 2 year? I mean, that IGST amount is there, sir. That has to be reflected in this portal.
Obviously, effect. Good point.
Supplier, who will be the supplier?
Good point. Excellent. You are right, brother. That is acceptable. Now, C sold the warehouse goods to D. Is clear? Now, D is the person to submit the bill of entry to clear the goods. He paid basic custom duty. He paid IGST also. Is it clear? Who paid IGST? Mr. D. Department of Custom now interlinked with that particular surface, that system software, with our GST portal, that IGST paid by Mr. D will be reflecting as a paid amount by Mr. D as paid amount. Is it clear? Now, Mr. D, when paid the IGST, if he is a registered person, RP, Department of Customs will credit that IGST to Mr. D only.
So GST number, customs department.
Yes. Now, import or export, what you require to have means GSTIN should have to have. Your GSTIN number, goods and services identification number, will be treated as your importer cum exporter code. Without which difficult to import or export. Sir, I am not a RP, sir. I am not a registered person, sir. I am not having the registration number, sir. In that case, you should have to have PAN number. Your PAN number will be replaced as your importer cum exporter code under Department of Customs. Then Department of Customs knows that your registered person, Mr. D of Delhi, is a GSTI number. To the GSTI number, the IGST what they collected, it is going to reflect your GST R2A return as your credit to confirm by yourself. Tomorrow, Mr. D of Delhi is going to sell that goods in India. That time liable to pay GST. While paying the GST paid on account of import of goods, IGST will be allowed as input tax credit. Is the phenomena of the GST. IGST not at all revenue to any department. When the IGST is going to be, suppose the importer is Mr. Rafi. Import the goods for his personal consumption. He is not a registered person. In that case, on account of import of my goods, I have to pay IGST. That will be collected by the Department of Customs and named Government of India. That IGST subsequently will be settled between the central and state as per the recommendation of the GST Council. Is it clear, Amma? Any difficulty, my dear friends? Good. So, with this, Schedule 3, point number 8, sub-point A is clear. Supply excludes is this. Further, Schedule 3, point number 8, sub-point B is as follows. Supply of goods by the consignee to any person by endorsement of documents of title to the goods after the goods have been dispatched from the port of origin located outside India but before clearances for home consumption, namely high seas sales transaction it is. In the earlier definition when I referred India term defined, that time I told you, my dear, what do you mean by high sea sales, which is the area beyond 200 nautical miles from the baseline. I said or not? Goods dispatched from a country of origin. From Thailand, the goods has been dispatched. So, from the Thailand, goods has been moving in a vessel by crossing the territorial limits of the Thailand. The country of origin of goods, the vessel crosses, coming towards India. It is away from 200 nautical miles from the baseline. At that moment, Mr. C, who is the importer of that goods, received an order from D of Delhi. These goods are not warehoused. It is in the vessel, yet to be reached to the Indian port, beyond 200 nautical miles it is. Beyond, see, look here. Far away from here, it is far away. Beyond 200 nautical miles. At that stage, these goods, C of Chennai, sold to D of Delhi. Documents of title and imported goods has been transferred. This is also not a supply. From C point of view, not a supply. D, after these goods reaches to port, submit the bill of entry and clean the goods. That time D liable to pay custom duties. D liable to pay custom duties. along with IGST to Department of Customs. Is it clear, my dear? This example I given here for a kind consideration, my dear sir. Supply of goods. X Limited supply the goods Y Limited for consideration by endorsement of documents of title in the goods means what? By transferring dash bill of entry. That is important to note. Bill of entry is a documents of title to the goods. And the transaction taking place between X Limited and Y Limited is not a supply because it is supplied after crossing the origin of customs of exporter. It is very clearly said that after the goods have been dispatched from the port of origin located outside India, and the goods had to be reached to India. In that case, in general we call high sea sales also. In that case, that goods title transferred by the importer to a incoming buyer. That time, the incoming buyer only the person liable to pay department custom duties. Seller of that goods, not a supply. So X Limited supply the goods, not a supply. Transaction between X and Y, not a supply. Got the clarity, my dear friends? Any difficulty? We have discussed how many points, Amma? 8 points. Supply excludes 1 under Schedule 3. Supply of service by employee to his employer in the course of employment, not a supply. 2. Service rendered by court, tribunal, which includes Consumer Dispute Resolution Commission, Redressal Commission also, not a supply. Third one, members of the Parliament, Legislative Assembly, Panchayat, or the local authority or the municipality, not a supply. Fourth one is funeral, burial, crematorium, mortuary services, including transportation of deceased. Fifth point, this sale of land and buildings, except as referred to Schedule 2, point number 5, subclass B. Thereafter, we referred. Sixth point, actionable claims, except lottery, betting, gambling. Seventh point, supply of goods from non-taxable territory to non-taxable territory without touching Indian territory is not a supply. 8A, supply of warehoused goods before clearances for home consumption. Under 8B, supply of goods after the goods have been crossed the country of origin, custom station, that goods has been transferred by supplier in India to other person, not a supply. So these are the 8 points covered under Schedule 3, which is supply excludes. Why I refer supply excludes? Because my scope of supply, section 7, subsection 2, clauses specifically says supply excludes Schedule 3. These are all the things. Got the clarity, my dear sir? Further, referring to here, section 7, subsection 2, clause B, which says that as follows. Supply excludes further 7(2)(b). Such activities are transactions undertaken by the central government or a state government or a union territory or any local authority in which they are engaged as public authorities, as may be notified. Important point here is as may be notified. as may be notified, as may be notified by the government on the recommendation of GST Council, also be treated not as supply. Yet to notify. Till now not notified. Section 7, subsection 2, clause B, to be notified. Upon the recommendation of GST Council, Government of India will notify what is not a supply. For example, tomorrow Government of India said, service provided by commercial training and coaching institutions, ALL all institutes, their supply covered under 7(2)(b. If they say, Rafi Academy not liable to pay GST, they won't say. It is a power in the hands of the government to use with the interest of the public at large. Yet to be notified. What is not a supply, government will notify. 7(2)(b. Is clearer? Further. Referring to you now, section 7, subsection 3 of the CGST, because scope of supply, no. We are referring, we are actually where we are? We are here, my dear friends. We are here. Am I right? We are here. 7(1) we covered, 7(1)(a) we covered, 7(2) we covered. Now 7(3) is this. Very important. This also to make you understand. As per section 7(3) of the CGST, subject to the provisions of subsection 1, subsection 1(a) and subsection 2, the government may, on the recommendation of the council, specify by notification the transactions that are to be treated as supply of goods and not as supply of services, or supply of services and not as a supply of goods. You know Schedule 2. Schedule 2, what is supply of goods? What is supply of services? They said, see, restaurant services, goods also is there. Food is goods actually. But as a whole we call what? Services. That means supply of services and not supply of goods. In the case of restaurant services. In the case of restaurant services. Government of India is empowered to do so under section 7, subsection 3. Transactions, activities covered under section 7, subsection 1(a), section 7, subsection 1, section 7, subsection 2. 7(1), 1(a), supply includes. Section 7, subsection 2, supply excludes. These transactions means the whole transactions and this whole transactions and this whole transactions. What is supply of goods? Called as supply of services. What is supply of services? Called as supply of goods. Is the power under section 7(3). Got the clarity, my dear sir? With this section 7, 3 subsections, the explanation is concluded. Now further I am bringing you to notice helm of the FS topics, advanced concepts under the chapter called as scope of supply, like goods supplied on sale or approval basis is a supply, or goods supplied by me to my buyer, quantity 1000 liters. He retained 100 liters, balance entire 900 liters has returned back to me. Then what is quantum of supply? These are all points I am bringing with help of circulars, or one by one is as follows. Let us start from here. Your page number 36. Your page number 36. Under the scope of supply, clarification CBIC. In the given case, what happened, my dear sir? Indian Oil Corporation, for example, supplied SKO, superior kerosene oil, from its refinery through a dedicated pipeline. So, is a refinery. This one is a refinery here. Is a refinery. Dedicated pipelines are here. See, these are not dedicated pipelines. To customer place, supplied the SKO, superior kerosene oil, to the manufacturer of linear alky bench, a product they are manufacturing. For them, superior kerosene oil is wanted. They supply the superior kerosene oil to them for their manufacturing of linear alky bench. What they did here is, on an average, about 15 to 17% of the total quantity of SKO received from the refinery is retained, and the balance quantity ranging from 83% to 85% is returned to refinery. So, assume a scenario, they supplied 1000 liters SKO after retaining, let us say, 15%, namely, 150 liters, and the return back to them is how much? The return back here, almost all the 850 liters has been returned back. In the given case, for Indian Oil Corporation, IOC, what quantum is the equal to supply? Is it, answer, is it A, 1000 liters, B, 150 liters, C, 850 liters, D, none of the above? B is the right answer. B, you rightly said, is the right answer. 150 liters. What they retained is the supply. Said by CBIC, stating that in the given case, they said here, in the given case, they said here by stating that GST will be payable by the refinery only on the net quantity of superior kerosene oil retained for the manufacture of the linear alky bench, though the refinery would be liable to pay GST on such returned quantity of SKO when the same is supplied to any other person. That means supply of this particular superior kerosene oil to manufacture alky bench, what they are retained, 150 liters, for example, that alone is supply for refinery, namely Indian Oil Corporation. 850 quantity liters are received back, also be supply only when further when they supply to other person. Is clear? Further, my dear sir. On the similar lines, this circular is brought into force. In the given case also, oil refineries supplied petroleum gases through their dedicated pipelines to manufacture of petrochemical products, and they retained certain quantity. They retained certain quantity here, retaining certain quantity, and remaining quantity is returned after retaining portion of the petroleum gases. So, similar way, 1000 liters supplied, they retain 850, 150 and 850 return back. So in that case, for these refineries, what is the quantum of supply? What they retained by the buyer is equal to supply for supplier. Similar way, same circular. This is from the petrochemical industry. This is the gas industry. Is it clear, sir? Circular of the CBIC. With regard to supply. Got the clarity? Any difficulty up to this, my dear friends? Up to this, any difficulty? Is clear? No difficulty. Further, my dear sir, goods sent to job work concept. Referring here, job work concept. What do you mean by job work? As per section 2, subsection 68 of the CGST Act, job work means any treatment or process undertaken by a person on goods belonging to another registered person, and the expression job work shall be construed accordingly. The registered person on whose goods, namely inputs or capital goods, job work is performed is called the principal. Thus, the job worker is expected to work on the goods sent by the principal. Simple, this point I referred under Schedule 2, point number 3. Job worker means the person who carry out the goods of the others, any activity. For example, my dear, I am the eminent tailor, fashion designing. You came with your cloth. You given to me your cloth. Who is the owner of the cloth? By you. I take in your measurements. I stitch the cloth, requisite size and shapes, and finally finish the product and given back to you. I am the job worker. I am otherwise simple. You own a car, BMW car. You want to give for service, Rafi Automobile Service Center. You came to my place, given the car to me for servicing. I did perfect service for your car, neatly cleaned every part and arranged, assembled and given back to you, sir, your car ready. So my activity is on the goods of the other. Falls under section 2, subsection 6, namely called as job worker. Section 2, subsection 68 of the CGST says, what do you mean by job worker? Now, I told sometimes before, my job work charges for doing the service for your BMW car in the name of Rafi Automobiles, my service charges, whatever incurred by me, while cleaning grease and all I use, some consumables also use, and as a whole, my charge comes rupees 10,000. Now you tell me, your BMW car, 40 lakhs. Assume a scenario. My job work charges rupees 10,000. On your vehicle, I carried out the activities as job work, and I given to you my, after completion of my job work charges, completion of my job work, I given the vehicle to you. What is my value of supply? A, 10,000. B, 40 lakhs. C, 40 lakhs 10,000. D, none of the above. 10,000 only. If you say the value of the car also including the value of job work, 4 lakh 10,000, 40 lakhs 10,000. By payment of GST on that, I will liquidate here. That means to say that my intention to say, my dear, as a thumb impression, you should not include the value of the goods which is given to you on job work. You should not include in the value of your job work. I want to say that. Further, this is what I am saying here. Job worker, in addition to the goods received from the principal, can use his own goods for providing the services of job work. However, job worker should not include the value of free of cost goods and services supplied by principal in his job work charges. The value of freely provided BMW car to job worker to have service should not include in the value of job work charges. It is very clear that principal to job worker and job worker to principal cannot be treated as supply as per section 143 of the CGST. This point I clarified in the previous lecture itself. Got the clarity, my dear? Now one point I am bringing here, my dear. Here, goods sent on job work. A circular. I'm the artist, paint, still art, excellent manner performing the art. This gentleman. In one case, this is a circular, this is job work. Up to this job work. This point I am referring here as a new circular with regard to goods sent on sale or approval basis. If I send the goods on sale or approval basis, is it supply? You being an accountant, aware of that. If I supply the goods on sale or approval basis, it is not a sale unless the buyer accepts the purchases. Here one point I want to clarify. Before going for the circular, sir, assume a scenario, my dear friends. Practical point it is. You are a practicing CA. You are a practicing CA. And moreover, my auditor. Who am I? I am a seller of laptops. One fine day you call me, hey mister, could you please send 4 laptops to us? We will select one among the 4. Which is best one? Okay, sir. Immediately I sent to your office my 4 new laptops, new brand laptops. You are not selected. Is supplier? No, fine. 1 day over, 2 days over, 3 days over, 4 days over, 1 month over. I call over for you are my auditor. Sir, how are you? Have you selected my laptops? Anyone? You replied, wait, we are testing. My articles are testing. Whether which one is buy. Wait for some time. Okay, sir, because you are my auditor. 1 month over, 2 months over, 3 months over. After 5 months completion, I called over phone. You replied, wait, testing. In the name of goods sent on sale or approval basis, which is not a supply, it is not that forever it is not a supply. If the person who receives the goods on sale or approval basis is not returned back to you within 6 months from the date of dispatch, then the lawmaker said here in the GST law, it is amount to be supply. On the first day after expiry of 6 months, it is a supply. Hey mister, you have to pay GST. Get my point, sir? So this point I want to bring to notice before going for this. Suppose if the goods returned by the auditor to me within 6 months from the date of my dispatch, which is not a supply. I supply the goods on approval basis and you not selected, all the 4 returned. In that case, not a supply. Got the clarity? But what is criteria here? 6 months criteria. There you are excellent. 6 months is the criteria. Having this, I am bringing notice. The artwork for supply on approval basis can be moved from the place of business of the registered person, artist, to another place with the same state or to a place outside the state on a delivery challan along with the e-way bill wherever applicable, and the invoice may be issued at the time of actual supply of artwork. For example, sir, I am sending jewelries from state of Tamil Nadu to state of Maharashtra. Approval basis, not a supply. Is clear? But what is required? Procedure required. Delivery channel is required. Followed by e-way bill with the value exceed rupees 50,000. Is clear? Further. When we supply means if the buyer accepted, that time only raise the invoice. That time only supply. Second case. In case of supply of artist through galleries, there is no consideration flowing from the gallery to the artist. When the artwork are sent to the gallery for exhibition, and therefore the same is not a supply. Reason, gallery wala if not sold, that goods will be returned back to artist. It is only when the buyer selects a particular artwork displayed at the gallery that the actual sale takes place, and applicable GST would be payable at the time of such supply. He said, artist, who is a registered person, I sent to you on 1st January 20 paintings to exhibition. On 1st January, not a supply. Art gallery wala replied, on 31st January, you were out of 20 art paintings, 5 only sold. For that 5 only supply. When? On 31st January. That time raise the invoice for the 5. Balance 15 returning back to you within 6 months from the date of dispatch on approval basis, which is not a supply. Is it clear, my dear sir? So, at this point of time I am concluding the session. Continuation of this continue by tomorrow sharply at 6:30 a.m. Thank you, my dear friends. Have a nice day.